Hello folks, and welcome to this live video review of the Lakey Bloke Australian Pale Ale that's been hopped with Amarillo and Cascade. And there it is. It's a little bit murky, but that's because, you know, it's early days and it does have a little bit of haze in there. It's been in the fridge just for a few hours. It's very tight on the bottle there, though. This is a plastic PET bottle, and we're just going to do a little bit of a review on this to see how it's turned out. Hopefully you'll be able to hear. I know I'm pulling out there towards the camera because the microphone's down here, so let me open up the bottle there. Hopefully there'll be a hiss any second now. There you go. There's a little bit of a hiss, folks. That's not too bad, is it? I'm just going to pour this into the glass. There we go. Again, it's going to be a little bit hazy, folks, because it is a very, very early beer. This is at the point where it's only been in the bottle for 2 weeks. I've not left it to rest in the beer shed of doom for any prolonged period of time. So what we're doing here is essentially we're testing the carbonation and whether the Amarillo and Cascade hops have done anything to enhance the flavour of a basic Cooper's kit. Okay, and again, hey Sandlog, how you doing? And again, you know, I'm not bought into Coopers. I just have some kits lying around. I bought them in sales and things, and I'm just using up when they get to the use by dates. I basically grab them and I chuck them in, and we do some additions on them, and we always try to pimp them out, folks. That's what we do. That's the way we roll. So here we are then. It's not too bad. I mean, obviously it's not great looking. It's a little bit murky, but it's fairly light, considering I did some hoppage on it. And I'm just going to look into my hoppage notes here, and I'll tell you what's gone into it. I had 3 additions of hops. I had 15 grams of Amarillo and 10 grams of Cascade at 15 minutes on the boil. I had 15 grams of Amarillo and 10 grams of Cascade at 1 minute on the boil. And I had 15 grams of Amarillo and 10 grams of Cascade as a dry hop for 7 days or so, you know. So cheers, boys and girls. Let's dive in. Give it a little bit of a smell. There's a slight dryness to the smell. I'm not getting too much off of it, but then, you know, this is a very low sort of a pale ale kind of thing, and you wouldn't expect to get too many flavours off of it. There's not an awful lot of hoppage going on, bearing in mind very small amounts of hops have gone in there with the Amarillo and the Cascade. So let's give it a little bit of a taste. That's good. You know what? That's a lovely pale ale. That's just got exactly the right amount of bitterness and hoppiness for that particular style of beer. If you just did the Cooper's kit on its own with your usual bog standard 500 grams of malt, 250 grams of maltodextrin and 250 grams of sugar, you would get quite a bland beer, which some people actually might quite like, you know. But for me, I'm steering gradually towards the hoppier beers because that's what I've been doing over the course of the last 6 to 12 months or so. I've been experimenting more with the beer hoppage. And when we do next week's Homebrew Wednesday video, granted there isn't one this week, but when we do next week's Homebrew Wednesday video, you guys will understand why I'm more into the hoppage now. I've been doing some amazing experiments these past few weeks on the stove. The kids have run out of the house because the house smells like cat wee. Was one of the things that they said to me. I was like, it smells like cat wee. That's the Simcoe, by the way, and Simcoe is renowned to smell like cat litter tray. But I mean, to me, it smells all right, you know. But to other people, perhaps not so much. The main problem that people complain about is smelly socks. They go, oh, it smells like smelly socks. However, this is a very early beer. This needs another month or so before I go back to it, folks. I think, as you can see, it's still a little bit hazy. Okay, and that haze will go with time. However, it probably won't affect the flavour of the beer, of the end product. There's not an awful amount of headage going on there at all, but then I wasn't overly aggressive when I poured it. The carbonation is roughly where it should be, given the fact that it's only been in the bottle for 7 to 10 days. Probably needs another couple of days in the kitchen before I move it into the shed, and then just put it out there and forget about it for a couple of months. However, having said that, as a base for pimping out kits, folks, this is the way to go. Get yourself in a sale. Don't buy it otherwise, all right? Because it's not worth it. You can get them cheaper if you buy a 2-can kit. Wait for the sales to come on, and when the sales do come on, you know, the Tesco sales or whatever sales are going on where you are, get yourself the Australian Pale Ale, which I think is probably the best of the bunch when it comes to the Cooper's kits. The green Australian Pale Ale from Cooper's. Get yourself that. Use it as a base. Don't just chuck malt extract in there and sugar and do it on its own, because I think you'll find it rather boring. It does need some extra stuff going on in there. It needs some extra hoppage and some dryness as well. So the Amarillo adds the sort of bitterness to it, and the kind of dryness to the beer, and the Cascade obviously gives it that little hoppiness as well, and it works quite well, I think. That is a good beer. As it is now, that is a good beer. It's not too hoppy. It's not too dry. Perfectly fine. I imagine, given a month, that will be one of my go-to beers, folks. So hopefully you found that useful. Thank you to the people that are sitting in the room watching me talk bollocks and ramble on. For the folks that are watching this on YouTube, you'll notice there are lots of graphics around me. There's the beer cam there, which is my Galaxy Owl. You can probably see me pointed to it. There we go, there we go. This is what people usually see on a Saturday night during the broadcasts. Hopefully you'll be there to see us this week. If not, we'll see you next time. Have a good week, folks, and we'll see you on the next one. Ta-da.